Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to announce the 45th annual commencement of New River Community College. At this time, we ask that you please silence all cell phones and other mobile devices for the remainder of the ceremony. Please rise and remain standing until the graduates have marched in and the invocation has been given. Graduates, please rise. Dr. Graham Mitchell will give the invocation.
Shall we pray? O Lord, today is like any other. The sun rises, the wind blows, the rain falls, people are born, they laugh, they cry, they dance, and they die. Today, time is as it has been from the very beginning, and will be as it is until all things end. Today is like any other, and yet today is also fresh and new like no other day. Today is a moment of opportunity that has come and will pass also in a moment. Today marks a passage from one kind of life to another. Today is a gift. Today is a graduation, a passage, a completion, an inauguration. So today we pray for all those who have met the challenge and kept the faith to the commitments of their studies. Now they have a new life before them. We first offer thanks for the success of their journey. We thank you for granting them focus and direction, and then strength and endurance. Thank you for the knowledge and understanding they have mastered. Thank you for their curiosity and capacity and determination that enabled their journey thus far. But today we also pray for tomorrow. This graduation opens another door to another time. As you have led in the past, lead now into the future. We pray that you will give them focus and clarity to understand their purpose and the courage to respond and step towards that purpose. But today, we take time to celebrate with each other and enjoy this moment of accomplishment. And we thank you for your strength and grace. Amen.
Please be seated. If you still need a seat, there are some empty chairs just behind the graduating class. If there is a vacant chair next to you, would you please raise your hand so that people who still need a seat may find one? If you are still without a seat, you might wish to try one of the overflow rooms located in this building or the next. A live video feed will be broadcast in each of the overflow rooms. Graduation staff members are wearing badges and will be happy to assist you in locating an overflow room. At this time, Mr. Brad DiNardo, Chair of the New River Community College Board, will give the welcome. Mr. DiNardo.
Mr. President, members of the board, distinguished guests, faculty, graduating students, friends of the college, and family and friends of the graduates. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this special evening. We are also honored to have several distinguished individuals attending tonight. I would like to introduce them and ask them to stand, but if you would hold your applause until we have finished. From the community college, our state board liaison, Dave Nutter. The mayor from the city of Radford, Bruce Brown. The town of Dublin mayor, Benny Skeens. A member of the Giles County Board of Supervisors, Chappie Baker. From the Montgomery County School Board, Jamie Bond. From the New River Community College Foundation, Cretia Chachwa. Ed Lawhorn. Greg Rooker and his wife Fran. L.T. Simmons. And Dr. Lewis Webb. The town manager of the town of Pulaski, Sean Utt. The treasurer of Montgomery County, Richard Shelton. New River Community College retirees: Lee Anderson, Bill Clausen, Louise Wade and her husband Jack, Doug Warren, and two other special guests, Mrs. Jenny Taylor Troutman, who is the wife of tonight's guest speaker, and last but very not least, the First Lady of New River Community College, Dr. Mary Ann Lewis. Two other special guests will join us this evening and will be introduced by Dr. Lewis in a few minutes. Honored guests, thank you for being with us tonight as we celebrate the accomplishments of these individuals before us. We truly appreciate your continued support of New River Community College and its graduates. Tonight, we celebrate one of life's most rewarding milestones, graduation from college. We celebrate with the families and friends that have supported these graduates throughout their academic journey. We celebrate with the faculty members who have led these graduates on this journey. But most of all, we celebrate our graduates who have accomplished so much. Your educational journey probably had many challenges and bumps along the way. Education enables you to build your future, to become leaders in your communities, in business, or in government. Education is freedom. It's the freedom to choose, the freedom to decide, the freedom to advance, and the freedom to accept other and more challenges. So on behalf of the New River Community College Board, I would like to thank all of the parents, spouses, family members, and friends who encouraged and supported these graduates as they work toward arriving at this day. Finally, to you graduates, you've made it. We're privileged tonight to celebrate not only your journey of the past, but also the success of the present and the promise of the future. Your time at New River may be over, but your education will continue. Tonight's graduation ceremony is only the beginning. In life, every day, you will continue to learn and to grow. That process will continue until the very last day of your life. So enjoy the journey. Thank you.
The Honorable David A. Nutter will now bring greetings from the State Board for Community Colleges.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the board, thank you for allowing me to be here today. First of all, let me say to the graduates of 2014, congratulations, you've done it. You know, as a member of the State Board, I'm honored to be with you today and share with this important occasion in your life and in our community. And you may not realize this is a very important occasion in the life of our Commonwealth because you really represent Virginia's best hope for a brighter and more successful future. It is educated people starting their careers, moving on to additional education. Today is a time to celebrate your hard work and accomplishments. You know, as graduates of New River Community College, our community will benefit greatly from your work here as you begin to take your place in our community as current and future leaders. While NRCC is your home institution, you are also part of Virginia's largest university system. Today, 60% of all college undergraduates in Virginia are enrolled in a community college. Each year across the Commonwealth, more than 400,000 citizens find opportunities at one of Virginia's 23 community colleges. You are part of one of the most comprehensive higher education institutions in Virginia, and is transforming the lives of almost 500,000 people, except for one distinction: we don't have football teams. How about that? You should be especially proud today to be graduating from New River. NRCC is an outstanding institution, highly respected not just here in Southwest Virginia, but across the state and indeed the nation. This year, NRCC, I get a few moments now to brag about NRCC. This year, NRCC was named one of 150 colleges from across the nation eligible to be considered for the prestigious Aspen Prize in Community College Excellence. One of 150 in the whole nation. That's where NRCC stands. Music professor Louise Bio was chosen by the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia as one of 12 outstanding faculty members in Virginia. She will be honored next week in Richmond at the state board meeting. VCS Chancellor Glenn DuBois selected NRCC for a special Chancellor's Innovation Fund grant to develop groundbreaking new coursework that will help propel the entire VCS system into new models of teaching and learning. And the prestigious Columbia University Center for Community College Research traveled to Dublin this spring to study how NRCC is redesigning its developmental education programs. As you see, NRCC is an institution that is helping to set the pace for academic innovation and inspired teaching. Graduates, for some of you, this is the end of your immediate college career, and for others, you're planning to go on for a four-year institution. But I can promise all of you one thing: this is not the end of your education. Virginia's community colleges are here for you, whatever path in life you take. Long before your hair looks a lot like mine, new jobs and whole industries will be created, and you will need to refresh your skills in order to stay abreast of the vast financial and technological changes that will drive this revolution. The vision and hope that is the Virginia's community college system will be here to help you and millions of other Virginians to meet those challenges. I wish you well in all future endeavors, and congratulations on this very special day.
At this time, I would like to present to you Dr. Jack M. Lewis, President of New River Community College.
Thank you very much. You know, we're all inside now, so it's okay, huh? I've been worried about this weather all day. I was afraid we will have major storms that would literally just play havoc with us. I do want you to know this. This gentleman right here who gave our invocation, he also will be giving our benediction. He's in charge of the weather. So I'm going to be reevaluating just who should be in charge of the weather this next year. No kidding aside, I think it's wonderful that we're all inside. And just let me just say this: I hope we're not spending the night here. So, you know, Graham, you could redeem yourself. We are gathered here to celebrate you, the graduates, and also to honor the faculty and staff who've really made it possible for you to be here, to graduate from this great college. On this occasion, it's important, though, to remember how you got here and just, you know, who we are. And so we like to do a little demonstration every year, and I like to ask the audience to participate. So us begin with asking the parents, if you are a parent, a step parent of one of these graduates, I want you to stand and remain standing, and we're going to accumulate this now. So yes, if you're a parent or a step parent, please stand. If you're a husband or wife, would you stand? The group's getting larger now. If you're a grandparent, would you please stand? If you're a son or daughter, would you please stand? If you are a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, friend, professor, teacher, anyone who has supported any one of these students along their way, I want all of you to stand. Now, graduates, you can see you didn't get here by yourself. I want you to stand. I want you to face all these people who've helped you along your way. Now show your appreciation. Would you do that, graduates? You may be seated. Thank you. So I thank all of you for being here this evening, and let me just remind every one of you that you're on the campus of one of America's finest community colleges. And after hearing Delegate Dave Nutter speak tonight and say all these wonderful things, we might be number one in community colleges in America. What do you think, graduates? You think that? Yeah. I think so too. This time I'd like to recognize members of the College Board who are attending this evening. Often it's behind the scenes. That's where their work really goes on most of the time. But they have put in many hours and they put in a great amount of energy and talent in providing guidance in the development and maintenance of this institution. They have worked hard to assure that the college is providing the programs and services which meet the needs of citizens, businesses, and industries of the New River Valley. Our board members are committed to our students, and their presence here this evening is evidence of their interest. So now I want to introduce them by political subdivision, members of the College Board who are present with us this evening. And members of the board, I ask that when I call your name, that you please stand and remain standing until all are introduced. So from Floyd County, Mr. Michael Patton and Mrs. Karen Thompson. Please continue to stand. From Giles County, we have Dr. Douglas Martin. And from Montgomery County, our board chairman you just heard from, Mr. Brad DiNardo. And we also, Dr. Sue Thacker. From the city of Radford, we have Dr. Jack Brockway and Mr. Steve Harvey. And from Pulaski County, we have Jim Liu. Now, we also have two other members who are seated here with my lovely Mary Ann, and I want to introduce Delegate Benny Keister is seated here, and also we have Mr. Tom McCarthy. Now, Tom McCarthy, I want you to know that a few years ago, he was selected among all the 23 colleges, their local boards, he was selected as the board member of the year. He is in his 20th year off and on being on this college board. So we just appreciate Tom's support, and he's here with his lovely wife, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for making it possible for Tom to be here. Let's give these folks a wonderful appreciation. There's another group that I'd like to just us pause and give appreciation and a big thank you to, and that's those who help to preserve our freedom. And if we have any graduates who are veterans, would you stand? Just keep standing. I'd like all the veterans who are in the audience to join them standing. We are forever indebted to all of you. Now, our chairman, Mr. DiNardo, did mention that I had a couple of special guests. And we have a special guest that I first introduced is here to show his support for his grandson who is among you. And so here tonight is Dr. Dana Hamill. Now, Dr. Dana Hamill, he's here with his son, Colonel, Air Force Colonel, fighter pilot, Randy Hamill. We thank you for making it possible for your father to be here tonight. And of course, Dr. Hamill's daughter, Michelle, here. Now, it's her son who's graduating tonight, so we'll see him in a little bit. But what's so special about Dr. Hamill that I wanted to pause and us show our profound respect for Dr. Hamill. Folks, would you believe we have with us tonight the founding chancellor of this community college system? Can you believe that? So let me add a few more points that you might be interested in knowing. Of course, the first thing I think, Dr. Hamill, we might not be here tonight if it hadn't been for you see, with all your courage and your leadership. I tell you, this man, he has more drive than anybody I've ever met. His commitment runs so deep, you get him started. In fact, I was warned by Karen Peterson, a common friend of ours, don't let him to the podium. You'll never have a program tonight. So, Dr. Hamill, I apologize for not letting you be here, but I think there's wisdom in that. But it's his drive and his commitment to making a college education available to every Virginian that led Governor Mills Godwin to ask Dr. Hamill to guide the creation of the Virginia Community College system. So the results of his efforts, ladies and gentlemen, we have now 40 campuses, 23 colleges. They span from the Eastern Shore to the Big Stone Gap. And so what access this means to every Virginian, it really is real, Dr. Hamill. Everybody in every region of this state can go to college. And you know, there was another gentleman many years ago, that was his dream, wasn't it, Dr. Hamill? Thomas Jefferson. We all read about Thomas Jefferson's wanting within a day of a horseback ride, maybe. We remember that. So it was Dr. Hamill more than anyone else, ladies and gentlemen, who took Mr. Jefferson's vision and made it a reality. He organized the first local boards like the one we've just introduced here tonight. Imagine that. They're trying to decide just how you're going to put some protocol and structure into the management of this system. I just think it's wonderful. So, you know, he's worked with these political officials, educators, and businesses to find a location and build the college facilities and to develop a curriculum that was suitable to each region. Can you imagine how this college may have been chosen to be here where it is? Some of us know a little bit of that history, Dr. Hamill. I wouldn't dare get into some of that tonight. I want you to know, though, when this system was founded, they had projected enrollments. The enrollment at this college, Dr. Hamill, you may not remember this statistic, was to be 700 students. We have 5,000 of you now. You know what? The system is 400,000+ students enrolled, Dr. Hamill. Wow. Yes, it's fair to say that we are all beneficiaries of Dr. Hamill's visionary work and, frankly, his salesmanship. The man can sell anything. I witnessed it over the years. So impressive, the man. I have had the privilege, ladies and gentlemen, this tells you somehow about how old your president's getting. I've had the privilege of working for every chancellor in the community college system. It seems like the perfect leader has been in place for each stage of the maturity of our great system. Dr. Hamill is certainly no exception in that. He is the most charismatic leader, and it was his charismatic leadership, ladies and gentlemen, that they really made this system come together. You couldn't have had a better founding chancellor than Dr. Dana Hamill. So tonight he is our guest as his grandson reaps the benefits of the vision he put in place decades ago. So he's realizing it in a very personal way tonight. And I can guarantee you this, if I allowed him up here, who knows what all would happen, but I can tell you this famous quote that all you hear me say, don't you? What I often say, as our founding chancellor, Dr. Dana B. Hamill, would say, it's a great day to be alive in the Commonwealth. So I use that and I give this great man the credit. He has said it several times. I've heard him tonight. So I want you to join me in welcoming the founder of our outstanding community college system, Dr. Elmer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to make those extended remarks about this great man. Now, I have another great friend of this college and a great friend of mine and of Marianne and myself. It's Paul Duncan. Paul is a longtime businessman here in the New River Valley. I'm sure most of you are familiar with all the Duncan automotive dealerships. Is there one among us who has not bought a car from Duncan somewhere along the way? I have bought so many cars, I have now said to my good friend, I said, Paul, when do I get a free car? You know, he just stays quiet. He doesn't give me any. But I think I deserve one, Paul. It's been so many cars and so many trucks. What you may not know is that through Mr. Duncan's generosity, the NRCC campus doubled in size this year, the landmass of this college. Yes, he gave our college 102 acres of land. Isn't that something? In the recognition of their generosity, Paul and his son Gary were named NRCC's Philanthropist of the Year this past year. They were recognized last month at the Chancellor's annual philanthropic luncheon by the Chancellor and our state board. And of course, Marianne and I were there with some other guests. He and his son Gary have become good friends of our college, and we are lucky to have them. In fact, when I think about our good fortune, I am reminded of something that Paul says, and it's especially relevant for a class of graduates. So I want to pass on a little wisdom to you from the man who has achieved so much. Paul says that people often tell him how lucky that he has been. His response when they talk about how lucky he's been is where the wisdom comes in. And if he were up at this podium, he would give you this advice tonight. He says, I find that the harder I work, the luckier I get. Isn't that something? The harder I work, the luckier I get. In fact, Paul will also say that he believes in working half a day and resting on Sunday. Then he quickly adds, now half a day is 12 hours. So think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming Mr. Paul Duncan here. So, Dr. Hamill, we thank you for being here. Mr. Duncan, we thank you for being here. Now let me get on with what we're here for, and let's introduce this great speaker that's coming up. You know, I've enjoyed this man, he has so much inspiration, whether he's talking, if he's doing an invocation like he did last year in your absence. It may take your job too. And he did the benediction. Now he's going to give our graduation speech tonight, but he's very inspiring, so I can hardly wait for you to get up here, so I'll try to keep this somewhat short. But I want to introduce Reverend Andrew Taylor Troutman. And Andrew earned a bachelor's degree from Lenore Ryan University in 2003. Young fellow. I understand he actually went there on a baseball scholarship, Ted. And Ted, he loves the Braves. I just want you to know that. Some of us love the Braves. In fact, I understand that scholarship, it kind of fell apart because he got injured. Well, look where he is tonight, and he loves the Braves. He did well in the classroom, so well that he went on to earn graduate degrees from Union Presbyterian Seminary and the University of Virginia. Well-educated fellow. Andrew is also an accomplished writer. He is the author of numerous journal articles, and he's written 2 books. He gave me a copy of his latest book tonight, Parables of Parenthood, Interpreting the Gospels with Family. And he's got a nice note in there, so who knows, I'll hang on with that. Might be worth some money one day. This guy's doing so well, so young. But he also has written a book, Take My Hand, a theological memoir. So, great respect for this gentleman. Last year, 2013, Andrew received the Rising Star Young Alumnus Award from Lenore Ryan. Now, to receive this award, they look at the graduates of the past 10 years. And if they are outstanding graduates, and they measure that based on how promising their future is in their work and their career. And they also look at their achievements thus far. And they look at their support and what they've done in the community they serve, their work and volunteer. So, you know, he's just getting these awards. Andrew currently serves as the pastor of New Dublin Presbyterian Church. That's a historic church founded in 1769, almost 250 years ago. I visited that church, and I attended the funeral of our good friend, the delegate Bob Dobbins, such a wonderful friend of this college. It was one of the most inspiring, I don't know, I'm glad you're young. You might can preach mine one day, because I believe you could get in heaven if he preached your funeral. He's just that good. But he's very popular, and I understand why he's popular, because of being there in other places. Of course, his wife Jenny is here tonight, and they have a proud son, 18 months, a young son. God help you there. You know, Andrew, if he fails on this weather, we might put you in that position next year. I think you might have a direct line up there. So I could say a lot more, but I just want to say that we appreciate his work for our college, his teaching in our psychology department, and it's just a pleasure to introduce this college's wonderful friend, Reverend Andrew Taylor Troutman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Indeed, it is right where I want to start tonight, by telling you how grateful I am for this great privilege. And so I wish to thank you, Mr. President, for this honor. I wish to thank all the board members, faculty, and staff who have supported this decision to allow me to speak tonight. And even more importantly, thank you for all the ways that you have supported me. I truly feel a part of this community, and I am so grateful. And speaking of communities, I wish to thank all the family and friends that have gathered here this evening in support of your loved ones. I'm well aware that whatever I have to say will eventually fade from our memories, but it will be your presence here tonight that is the abiding word in the hearts and minds of these graduates. And so I thank you. And speaking of these graduates, I especially wish to thank each and every one of you underneath those funny-looking hats. I thank you because you are giving a most precious gift, your attention. I have done nothing to earn or deserve this gift, and yet you give it freely. So thank you. And in addition to expressing my gratitude, I want to honor this faith that you have placed in me. I want to make you 3 promises. Number 1, I will be relatively brief. Right? Number 2, I will honor your accomplishment as a graduate of this institution. And number 3, I will try my very best to share a little light something that you can carry with you as you move on from this ceremony, as you move on with your life. So in order to keep these 3 promises, I would like to tell you 3 stories. The author Salman Rushdie once wrote that animals leave behind tracks when they pass by, but we humans leave stories. Tonight, the stories I'll leave behind are about the tracks of a certain 18-month boy and those of a 100-year-old lady. As you hear about where they go and what they say, it is my hope it will leave an impression on your heart and mind. So, full disclosure, the 18-month boy is my own son. His name is Sam, and he's been walking for a while now, but he's just learning how to talk. One day, I'm sure he will tell his own stories, maybe in front of large gatherings of people. But for now, he says one word at a time. Words like car and truck, milk, tree, and most importantly, mama. Whenever we pass by the building where his dad serves as pastor, he will point at this little white building with its green roof and say clearly, food. So he's pretty much got all the basics covered. About a month or so ago, I was trying to teach him to say a new word, the word Jesus. I know that's so cliche coming from a pastor, but it is what it is. I kept trying and trying, saying the word over and over again, nice and slowly. Jesus, Jesus. Sam, can you say Jesus? And this went on and on and on until finally he turned and looked at me with his clear blue eyes and said in a clear voice, no. Actually, what he said was no, 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 proving convincingly that that was one of the words he can use. Now, I share this story for a couple of reasons. First, I want to break the ice and we can share a laugh. But secondly, it suggests something that a theologian might call free will, meaning that each of us has to say yes or no. Each of us has the ability to choose. Now, this is relevant to this occasion because this diploma that you all are about to receive represents a big, proud yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you are a graduate. Yes, you have accomplished much. And yes, your future is bright. But it also gives you the ability to say no. And that's important too. There's a writer named Anne Lamott who once said that she wanted her son, who's also named Sam, to understand that the word no is also a complete sentence. No, period. You have the right to say no, or if you prefer, no, no, no. Indeed, you must make your own decisions, including making up your own mind about that which you value and hold dear. It seems to me that all the important things in life are much more meaningful and significant and thereby holy if they are lived, not simply spoken, if they are believed, not merely repeated. And so you must choose yes or no. And that raises the question, what will you choose? Or in the words of the great poet Mary Oliver, what will you choose to do with your one wild and precious life? That fantastic question leads me to my second story about the 100-year-old lady. Her name is Netta, and she lives in South Carolina. Her ancestors were slaves, and she has eked out a living for a century on the very same plot of land where she was born. She is deeply rooted in her place and in her ways. Most mornings, Netta can be found rocking on the front porch, the chair squeaking in time with the bird song. And though her hands are gnarled and worn with time and work, they move skillfully, easily accomplishing whatever task is at hand. I want you to know that at 100 years, the woman still chops her own firewood and stacks it neatly just outside the door to her one-room house. Fiercely independent and proud, she embodies what one poet called difficult, ordinary happiness. She is the kind of woman that you would admire and also that you would seek to help. So over the course of sitting with her and rocking and hearing her stories, you learn that her best friend, Misty, lives several miles away. To visit her, Netta must walk her way through both the insufferable heat of the South Carolina summer and field after field of tall, tall grass. Now, you immediately realize that this journey is not only tiresome, but dangerous, to say nothing of the possibility of heat stroke. In those same fields of tall, tall grass lie some of our country's most poisonous snakes. And here's the key point. As the crow flies, the distance between the houses of the two friends is actually quite short. The reason that Netta has to travel all that dangerous way is because Misty's house lies on the other side of a raging river. So Netta has to walk and walk and walk through the grass in the heat, past the snakes, because she must find a shallow place far downstream in which she is able to cross safely. Therefore, you decide upon hearing this story that you are going to do something about it. Yes, yes, yes. You are going to build a bridge for Netta over the river right by her house so that she can take a shortcut and move easily to her friends. Yes, you have decided this. You do not consult Netta because you are not going to take no for an answer. You purchase the necessary supplies, line up the labor, and in a short time, that bridge is built. The shortcut is finished. Flushed with the success of your triumph, you go and visit Netta the very next morning. As usual, she wants to sit on the front porch and shoot the breeze, but you do not have time for such things. Remember, you are not taking no for an answer. So you practically pull this 100-year-old woman up out of her chair and drag her over to the river, over to your bridge, where you proudly display your handiwork, your expertise. In fact, with a sweeping gesture of your hands, you cry, "Voila, the shortcut." And then you realize that she is looking at you like you have lost your mind. In fact, she is shaking her head, no, no, no. And she points one of those old withered fingers at your bridge and says, "Honey, why did you do that?" Now it's your turn to look at her as if she is off of her rocker. Why? Why? Because of the miles and miles you had to walk, not to mention the snakes and the heat. Why are you asking why? You did this to help her, This is a shortcut for her benefit. But she's still shaking her head. No, no, no. And then she explains to you that on the journey to her friend Misty's, she made several stops along the way. First to her friend Virgie's, where she traded bright pieces of fabric for sewing. And then on to Mr. Jackson, who was always glad to have one of her freshly baked corn muffins. And then it's on to a certain Mrs. Seal, a woman who just needs a little looking after. And finally on to the home of the Dalton boys, who in exchange for a cup of coffee, she tells stories about their great-grandparents, people that Netta knew and loved when she was about the age of the Dalton boys, long, long ago. And you are listening to these stories about the steps she takes and the people she meets and the tracks she leaves behind. And suddenly, it dawns on you powerfully. She wanted to take the long way, as difficult and dangerous as it was. And as you have that realization, that is the exact moment she points her finger at you and says, honey, shortcuts don't mix with love. Shortcuts don't mix with love. That's a story told by my colleague Heidi Newmark in her book, Breathing Space. And I wanted to share it with you tonight because this is a special occasion when you are about to say yes to your diploma, which in many ways will give you the ability not to take no for an answer. Yes, yes, yes. You are trained, skilled, smart. Yes, you will have the opportunity to analyze situations and exert your will upon them. And in your journey, you may come across a place or a culture or a person that you think is doing something inefficiently or unproductively or just plain wrong. And you may have the occasion to exert your training and skills and smarts to effect a positive change. And that may be a wonderful thing. It may be that that is a sacred use of what you have been given in order that your one wild and precious life might be a gift as well. But I would ask that somewhere in the back of your mind, you remember this impression that Netta gives. She is a woman without a diploma. She cannot even read or write. Yet she has enough wisdom in her soul to flood our very hearts and minds with the sure and certain truth that in order to give, we must first receive. For shortcuts don't mix with love. Now, I promised you that I would be relatively brief, so I have but one more story. You'll remember that my son, Sam, has been learning new words. Just the other afternoon, I came home from work at the building he calls food and found him sitting in the grass playing with his caregiver. When he saw me, he stood up and took off in my direction, laughing, and he was saying, "Go, go, go." And he came to me first because children, like other people of wisdom, understand that shortcuts don't mix with love. But Sam only had time for a brief hug, and then he continued to go, go, go across the lawn to where his heart desired. So I called out after him, "Honey, where are you going?" And he stopped and looked at me with those clear blue eyes and said in his clear voice, "Yes." He said, yes, yes, yes. Now, tonight, I don't know where most of you are going either. It is my hope, however, that you take a moment and look back fondly on this institution, and particularly on those people here who have called to you by name, who have been concerned with where you're going and tried to help you along the way. It is my privilege on behalf of these people, these faculty and staff, to say to you, go, go, go to wherever your heart desires, in whatever direction you choose your one wild and precious life to take. But as you go, may you continue to learn. Perhaps you would learn this little something, that sometimes you need to hear someone else say no in order that you can say yes to something else, something that cannot be quantified or calculated or even bought, something like laboring for beauty, something like considering the deep freshness in all things, something like taking the long way, though it be dangerous. I ask you, if you chose to do that, wouldn't it be something? And wouldn't that something make a great story that then you could share with others in order to give them a little light to see by? So yes, may you say yes to such things. Yes, as wild, ridiculous, and even dangerous as it can be. May you say yes, yes, yes to being as wise, as inspiring, and as loving as you can possibly be. And with that, my friends, I end as I began. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Will the candidates for all degrees, diplomas, and certificates please stand? Mr. President, these candidates and others whose names appear on the program have completed all requirements for their degree, diploma, or certificate, and the faculty asks that they be conferred. All students except those in the front row may be seated. Amin Ahmed. Associate of Arts and Sciences, Business Administration, Me'azu Bagala Asifa. Michael Scott Bender. Rachel Ellen Cook. Kimberly Grace Fahrenkopf. Angel Leanne Keffer. Notnell Nadeau. Education, Carrie Dawn Havens. Amanda Brittany McCullen. Reuben J. Miller. Susan Bauer Roop. Belinda L. Thurman, also graduating in General Studies. Jamie Carol Zander. Engineering, James Matthew Beamer. Samuel K. Holt. Stephen Benjamin Keffer. General Studies, Megan Kaylee Altizer, also graduating in liberal arts and in science. Haley Brenna Bowyer. Amber Dawn Caldwell. Jenna Dawn Chrisley. Rachel Aaron Downey. Victoria L. Duncan. Heather Elaine Fields. Ashley Elizabeth Flory, also graduating in science. Christian Blake Four. Sarah Ann Gallagher. Allison Brooke Hodge. Linda Suzanne Howard. Eleni Marie Huff. Carly Ann Johnston. Cody Ray Ludwig. Kirsten Emily Mann. Christina Denise Poole. Jennifer Piles. Lacey Danielle Richardson. Mark Robick. Desiree Nicole Shea. Tori Janelle Sheets. Amber E. Slusser. Deanna Lynette Smith. Brandon Michael Smith. Robel Shibeshi. Desiree Renee Taylor. David Christopher Thompson. Daniel Julian Tompkins. Joshua Vaught. Jordan Lee Wade. Edward Joseph Wilson. Joshua Lewis Wilson. Crystal McLaughlin Wiltsey. Alexander John Wren. General Studies, Computer Science Specialization, Alula Guminchu da Casa. Eric Daniel Legg. Cody A. Rigney. Liberal Arts, Cecile Gaines Newcomb. Science, Tegist Chakiso Ulato. Sarah Tedessa, also graduating in Business Administration. Hernet H. Gebret Christos. Jacob Neil Holston. Benjamin Anthony Morrison. Caitlin Payne. Deanna Jean Stevens. Associate of Applied Science, Accounting, Tammy Leonard. Samantha Leanne McNeil. Mary Amanda Reed. Ashley Dodson Simmers. Kayla Marie Simpkins. Wanda L. Walker. Administrative Support Technology, Linda Compton Perkins. Medical Administrative Support Specialization, Ashley N. Blevins. Lisa S. Blevins, also graduating in Administrative Support Technology. Becky S. Goins, also graduating in Medical Office Assistant. Christina Green. Courtney Danielle Gross. Melissa Marie Holtz. Tiessa Diane Mathena. Tawana N. Neal. Taylor Ray Williams, also graduating in medical coding. Chelsea Jane Wilson. Business Management, Ian Alexander Brown. Stephanie Nicole Crawford. Dakota Gala. Yvetta Roberta Guest. Marketing Management Specialization, Kelly Taylor Four, also graduating in Human Resource Practices. Computer-aided drafting and design, Casey Leanne Bowler. Bradley Simon Clark. Carlton Ray Williams III. Kimberly Wynn Clark, Architecture Specialization. Michael Bradley Reno. Game Technology and Animation Specialization, Benjamin Burton Kavarick. Electronics Technology, Joseph Michael Lawson. Joshua Lee McDaniel. Forensic Science, Michael Lee Brightwell. Human Services, Christina G. Albert. Laura Davidson. Kelly Wyatt Flincham. Iman Kiana Peoples. Kendra Elizabeth Turman. Early Childhood Development Specialization, Lori Lee Plunkett Belcher. Crystal Marie Booth, also graduating in Early Childhood Development Certificate. Brittany Christine Davis. Caitlin Joy Haygreen, also graduating in General Studies. Leanne Phillips. Kayla Marie Smith. Haley Ann Thacker. Game Design Specialization, Seth Culp Clemens. Joseph Laban Corky. Andrew H. Gardner. Network and Technical Support Specialization, Timothy Michael Coyle. Jonathan Tyler Melton. Justin Scott Nipper. Stephen Antoine Tanner. Instrumentation and Control Automation Technology, Adam Paul Baker, also graduating in Electrical Engineering. Dustin Lee Bowman. Neil Everett Chestnut, also graduating in Electrical Engineering. Michael Albert Kluver. Jared Preston Ellison. Garrett Wade Farmer, also graduating in Electrical Engineering. Sherry O'Neill Gallagher, also graduating in electrical engineering and electronics technology. James Tyler Griffith. John Patrick Humphreys, also graduating in electrical engineering. Kevin Allen Perkins. Douglas Phillips. Joseph Caleb Ryder. Tyler Nicholas Tennyson, also graduating in electrical engineering technology. Philip Bruce Wood, Jr. Machine technology, Corey Allen Collins. Cody Austin Cumby. Paralegal studies, Megan M. Black. Police science, Jordan Thomas Adamson. Kirsten Marie Andrews. Michael Sean Bishop. Matthew W. Donovan. Jacob Ross Gentry. Adelinda Harrington. Candy Marie Helms. Jeffrey Allen Revan. Jennifer Lynn Robinson. Cody Wayne Slaughter. Paul Daniel Stinnett. Timothy Scott Wines. Diploma, Automotive Analysis and Repair, Ryan Thomas Abbott. Christina Lynn Askew. Patrick David Calhoun. Jacob Hamill Richardson. Dr. Dana Hamill, Jacob's grandfather, will assist Dr. Lewis in conferring this diploma. Certificate Welding, Glenn Weaver Ross. Stuart Randall Wood. Career Studies Certificate, Advanced Entry-Level Welder, Jason Edward Hall. Alternative Energy, Carolyn Cox McCain. Jerry Dan Swafford. Educational Interpreting, Rebecca Michelle Connor. Medical Coding, Casey Jane Ward. Medical Office Assistant, Cynthia Faye Andrews. Angie M. Austin. Elizabeth Nicole Bailey. Heaven Lee Black. Ashlyn Jade Bryant. Patricia Ann Dehart. Jacqueline Bobbitt Devine. Miranda Blevins Donathan. Marissa Winona Gray, also graduating in Pharmacy Tech. Okema Tanisha Holiday. Autumn Elizabeth Mertz. Karen Ann Ramsey. Teresa Marshall Robinson. Casey Lynn Snyder, also graduating in Medical Coding Career Studies. Nurse Aide, Michaela Olson. Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, Mark Anthony Moore. Small Business Management, Joseph William Reese. Will the candidates for degrees, diplomas, and certificates please rise? Mr. President, the 2014 graduating class.
Thank you. By the virtue of the authority granted by the Commonwealth of Virginia to New River Community College and by the State Board for Community Colleges delegated to me, I hereby confer your degree, diploma, or certificate with all rights, privileges, and duties pertaining to each. So now you could flip. How about that? So let me be the first to congratulate you on this wonderful achievement. And don't forget your college. Come back and visit us. We are yours forever, okay? Congratulations.
Immediately following this commencement exercise, there will be a reception in the Student Lounge in Martin Hall for graduates, their families, and friends. In addition to refreshments, entertainment will be provided by the Old Pros, and a college photographer will be available for individual or group photos. The audience will please rise for the benediction by Dr. Mitchell and remain standing until the academic procession has left the building.
Shall we pray? We go from here equipped with knowledge and ready to take on new challenges, new tasks, and new responsibilities. May we be intentional in living lives that will indeed make this world a better place. May it be said of us that our time on earth was well spent and that we left a positive legacy for the generations to come. May you as a graduating class be the positive life changers our world longs for. May the grace and peace of God be your strength. Amen.